NFL season is here. FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. And right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if that bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the App Store. You ready to play? If you are, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS to place your first $5 bet. We'll go from a resident running back to a resident quarterback. Shaun King joins us now. What's up, Shaun? How you doing today?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Shaun,
Johnny,
what's up, man?
Johnny.
What'd you think about Flacco's performance, Shaun?
I thought it was okay. I'm going to get into what I think they should do at quarterback here during this segment, but it was okay. I mean, it was solid. It was what you expect from a guy that's old as me that's still playing in the National Football League.
How old are you, Shaun? Are you 40?
He's older. No, he's older than that. He's just joking.
Hey,
I'm trying to make him feel younger.
Like quick, concise decision-making, very efficient, I think, diagnosing of the defense. Like, you can tell he still sees the game at a high level. I think when the quick passing game, the short to intermediate stuff, he's still really good at. But he's very immobile at this point. And for Cleveland, I just don't know big picture why they're driving this particular car.
Drill down on that. What you mean why they're driving this particular car?
The Browns, as they're currently configured, in my opinion, are not a Super Bowl caliber team. You could argue they're not really a fringe caliber team because they really don't have elite weapons offensively. I know the tight end fan, and he went from Bowling Green Brown to Cleveland Brown, and he looks pretty good in it, and Sampson showed some highlights. But outside of a stretch with Jameis Winston, Jerry Jeudy still didn't look like a number one receiver. Now, defensively, they're really good, but because I don't think they have a high ceiling with Joe Flacco, and they've been trying to figure quarterback out for how long, guys?
40 years.
But there's
Sometimes
17 games, Shaun. There's gonna be time to see the kids.
No, I'm just saying, sometimes when you want change, you got to do something strange. Here's what I would do.
Yeah.
I would alternate games with Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders.
Ooh, wow. That won't happen.
That's
How's
outside,
that, Shaun?
That's outside the box thinking. I like that. Why?
is.
Tell us why you do it that way.
Because now we get an organic opportunity to evaluate both of these young guys over 8 games. They got 16 games left, right?
Yep.
I would alternate starts.
How do you
Dillon,
explain
you
that
got
to
one?
Miles Garrett, Joel Bitonio, veterans that are running out of chances to win?
I bring Miles into the office. I say, Miles, we paid you. Shut up and go play. And as he's walking out the door, I said, we're gonna know one or two things at the end of this year. Either we got our quarterback of the future in Dillon Gabriel, or we got our quarterback of the future in Shedeur Sanders, or we know it's something that we still need to address.
I think they believe they already have that answer.
It's one thing to believe it; it's another thing to see it.
You're right.
When Ryan Poles went in those draft meetings and said that there was a super Walmart between Caleb Williams and the rest of the quarterbacks in that class, he fully believed that, Jay.
Yeah, he was wrong.
And now he has to watch Jaden Daniels and Drake May and J.J. McCarthy and Bo Nix and all these guys have success.
Well, maybe he.
Look at Caleb Williams.
Hey, maybe he was right though. Maybe he was right, just in the wrong direction.
Yeah, there could still be a world of difference.
Hey, man, that's a very good point. I hear that a lot around here. Well, the Browns believe. The Browns bro, listen.
But By the way,
thinking and knowing is two different things, right?
And to your point, like if the Browns already think that neither of these guys can be starting quarterbacks in the league, then that's a terrible job by them drafting, especially Gabriel. You know, Sanders, it's the 5th round. Okay, if that, 5th round picks don't always turn into anything. But you drafted Gabriel in the 3rd round. If you've already decided he has no chance to be the quarterback of the future, that's a really wasted pick for a top 100 pick.
And let me put some context on this. Sometimes you get lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If the San Francisco 49ers thought Brock Purdy was going to be a quarterback that they would give $50+ million a year to, after year 3, they would have drafted him in the 1st round, not the 7th.
You bet.
That's right.
Sometimes guys are gamers. Sometimes guys are kind of inconsistent in practice. They're not all the way fully wired. You know, Allen Iverson comes to mind. Not saying that Gabriel or Shedeur or Allen Iverson, just saying that we've had examples. Why not find out in 2025?
See, I
One of
like
them might
that.
surprise.
Sean, they're going to find out. I mean, they've used 5 and 4 quarterbacks, respectively, the last 2 years. Joe Flacco's 40. He moves like he's 45. He's a target back there. I think they're well aware of the fact that he is not going to last. It's not sustainable. It's just not. So at some point, the kids are going to be forced into action. I do think it's white flaggish if in week 2 you just roll out Dillon Gabriel in week 2. The fans are going to be like, wait a minute, we looked good in week 1. What are we doing?
So I'm glad you said that. And the reason, and I know it's unrealistic on, Wednesday of game week to say that anybody's going to start with Flacco. But to my point, even if it happens in 2 weeks, you give those guys a fair evaluation. What's going to happen if Flacco stays healthy? He's going to play 11, 12 weeks. The Browns are going to be 4-8, and you're going to have 5 games left.
It won't last that long.
But just under this scenario, you're going to have 5 games left. And now you're going to have 2 young guys going out there that are trying to substantiate being the quarterback that they were drafted to be with a group of guys that, man, you know how guys are when they see we can't make the playoffs?
Yep.
It's not the same.
Plus, guys will get hurt between now and then, too.
Yeah,
right.
But
You'll see a lot
of
my hamstring don't feel good. My shoulder hurt, coach. You know, my big toe.
Let me ask you this, Sean. This is my view of it. I thought this has been their plan all along. I think the line in the schedule is week 6. This is a gauntlet like we haven't seen. Really, all of them are playoff caliber teams. And I throw the Bengals in there even though they missed the playoffs last year. Everybody else is a playoff team. I think it's different if you do that and you're 1-5. At 1-5, hope has left the building. And I know that the players will pack it in week 13 if you're 4-8, but are they really packing it in week 6 if they're 1-5? I don't know. Maybe they are. You've been in those locker rooms. I think after week 6, you reassess. You look at where you are. What if by some fluke of, we didn't think that the Cincinnati game was going to be that close. If you're 3-3, maybe you let Joe ride for a little longer. But if you're 1-5, 2-4, depending on how those games went, I think that's an easier sell to the locker room and to the fan base. Let's just see what we have here. Because that is mission 2 this year, is that right there. Mission 1 is to try to win it first. If you stumble out of the gate, go to mission 2. You better find out what you have, and not just Dillon Gabriel, but Shedeur Sanders, because you have to either bring them back next year or let them go.
So you disagree with me when I said it, but you actually made my point.
No, I disagreed with your timing. You say let's do it this week. I think that's ludicrous.
No, right.
The timing is what I disagree with.
But when I said 4-8, you disagreed. But if they get to 3-3, they could very easily talk themselves into getting to 4-8 with Flacco.
They could, and you know what? I'm willing to let that hand ride. It's like a poker game. If I get a couple of aces and a 2 and a 5, I might fold. But I don't know what's coming. So at least let's play it out as long as I can before I throw all my cards down.
So let's make a poker analogy. So we're in a big tournament, right?
Yeah.
And we're the short stack, right? Our pre-flop range has to widen. We can't wait on aces because they may never come, and we'll just get blinded out.
Well,
at some point,
double up at some
because
point.
Because if you're a Browns fan, if you're in this organization, you just said y'all been waiting on quarterback for 40 years. At some point, you got to be willing to push your chips in the middle of the table. I got King 10 offsuit, but guess what? Let me see. I might be able to double up. That's where they're at.
So give me the draw. Well, how about this? How about this, Sean? And I know we've seen very little of them, but they see them every day in practice. They know who they are.
It's different.
Do you think that the Browns franchise quarterback of the future, is currently on this roster?
Here's why I think you got to play them, because we don't know.
You got to see.
I know, but they're making.
And I'm saying this is my evaluation. My evaluation. I think Shedeur Sanders could be really good in certain spots in the National Football League. I'm not sure if Cleveland is that spot. Cleveland needs a transcendent player at quarterback.
Right.
I think those guys deserve a chance to prove whether or not they're that person.
Okay, now
I know it's not Joe. I know it's not Joe Flacco long term.
Of course it's not. But I know, and we have limited information. That's all we have right now. You've seen both of them in a preseason game plus. You know, we didn't see enough.
Plus, he evaluated them in college.
And you looked at them a lot in college. From what you've seen of both of them, do you believe, if you had to put your chips in the middle, because that's what the Browns have to make that decision next year. Do you believe that either or both can be the future of this football team?
I think Shedeur Sanders has the capacity to be a multi-year above average starter in the National Football League.
Is that a yes then for the Cleveland Browns?
I don't know that Cleveland's the right spot.
Well, they can only... Yeah.
But the organization, I'd be damned now if they let these kids go and they go somewhere else and ball out. Then, I mean, that's just going to dig the hole even deeper for the Cleveland fan base, right?
Well, I
had Dillon Gabriel, and listen, I saw something in him in the preseason that I really liked. In the right system, I think he can be effective. But I just don't think his body type and skill level holds up over the long run.
Shaun, let's just call it what it is. The Browns are a man without a country. They keep saying they keep saying they want a quarterback. But anytime they want to get a quarterback, they go to the retread veteran. Let's see what we got. It says it's happened. This is Josh McCown. This is all the other guys.
Jameis,
the Loams, and we talk ourselves into it. Then you got some young dudes, right?
Well, one time they went with Baker.
But here's the thing: when you say I need to see the evaluation because they made. Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski made the evaluation that Baker Mayfield was not good enough. Is that correct? They told you that.
They did.
Now Baker rolled out. He's playing well. My thing is, while we talking about all this evaluating these young dudes, I need to evaluate if you know how to evaluate.
That's fair.
Because you got two dudes that you seem to be, well, we're not going to put them out there till we completely so. That ain't the way life works. You don't wake up in the morning and have a complete 100%. You got to, at some point, pull the trigger on something. So at least let me see if you got something, and then we'll give you some grace a little bit. If you play these dudes 4 games apiece or whatever, and you look like you're trying to move up and down the field, if they look good and just show their deficiencies, now people will say, all right, well, listen, they just ain't good enough. They're limited here. Let's see if we get another quarterback. But if you're going to say you're going to play Flacco for 12, 13 weeks, then not play these dudes, and then say, our guys in the 26th draft,
if the Browns are 0-3, I'm with you, Leroy. Shaun. If the Browns are 0-3, I think they should turn the page, and I think there's a chance they're going to be 0-3.
So let's learn right here.
Yeah.
Stop making it result based.
Well, that's fair.
Shout out to Joe Flacco. You are dealing with a consummate pro. Mm-hmm. Like Flacco ain't drinking number water, eating number vegetables. He knows how old he is. He's sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber. Like Flacco is doing everything in his power to stay healthy and be as efficient as possible so that he doesn't get removed.
Right.
Because he's the consummate pro. I'm talking about big picture, what's best for the organization. Let's say y'all went to the playoffs this year by some miracle and lost in the first round. Flacco not coming back next year.
No,
that's right.
At all.
Now all you're going to have is a room of guys that you still don't know.
That's fair.
I said it yesterday. They got on me. G. Bush, where's the cool? I said, listen, if you play 17 weeks and everything is straight, now you come in the next year and you tell us, well, it's going to be another competition between Shedeur, Dillon, and this new rookie. Now you're going to be playing the same charade you did all off season, and then Dillon to get, 4 games, Shedeur play a couple. Now you bring the rookie back in. Like, no, man, you gotta think big picture.
But they're gonna play. But I do agree with you guys. I'd play them sooner rather than later. To me, if Joe Flacco plays 12 games, that's not good.
As a fan of a football team
that
waves a white flag in week 4, I'm not here for that. I can't.
I hear.
So Jay,
even if it's better for the York team long term.
If it was the Indianapolis Colts, my head would say, yeah, let's see what we got. But the fan base here,
I get it.
We've been kicked. We're going to be, I don't know if you know this or not, Sean, but we're going to be the butts of the joke Sunday when the Browns are on the field. They're going to have to look across and look out at the stadium and watch as Baltimore has the 30th anniversary of stealing our team. Like, that's what we're relegated to. And for us to wave a white flag after week 2 or week 4, I can't. And I know we say Joe's 40. He won't be here next year. We said that when he was 38. And I said, let's bring him back for 39, and we let him go. And what'd we do? We brought him back a year later. Like, we don't know what his expiration date is. We know what the average quarterback's expiration date is. Tom Brady played till he was 45.
Can I say this? We're sitting here about Joe. This is the ironic part. We're sitting here talking about Joe Flacco being 40 as a consummate pro. But sometimes you got to be a trailblazer. You know who decided Joe wasn't good enough? The Baltimore Ravens. And they got Lamar Jackson.
Well, yeah, if you're choosing between those two,
but
that's
guess
easy.
what? But Lamar Jackson was not a slam dunk when he came out. Everybody said move the receiver. They took him at the end of the first round, and guess what? They turned him into something. So yes, sometimes you do have to roll the dice because we are sitting here with the Joe Flacco, and we had Kenny Pickett. That the Steelers, you can't keep getting you got to go big or go home.
Well, if we had a Lamar Jackson, I would make that bet every time.
We could have
all day.
No,
I know we could have now then, but we don't have him now, and he is the transcendent talent that you can see when you look at him. He won the Heisman in college. We knew that the skill set was clearly there.
So your passion is admirable, and you actually represent I know you actually represent a large portion of the Cleveland fan base. They are yearning for any semblance of success. But in the National Football League, if you think short term, guess what? You never have long-term stability. You never are a team that can get to the point where year in and year out, you're a legitimate Super Bowl contender. When something isn't fixed, you have to be willing to remove it and bring in something else. Not just put tape on this leg and wrap something around this shoulder. They got to find out if they have their quarterback of the future. What better way? So I believe this, right, guys? Iron sharpens irons, right? Iron sharpens iron. We've never seen a team do this in the league, but we've never seen a team be as futile at evaluating correctly the quarterback position as the Cleveland Browns. So you guys are in a unique bubble. And they don't got to start it this week, but 2 weeks from now, tell Dillon and Shedeur, we're going to alternate starts and see who can handle it. See who can handle it. See who can not only go out and excel as a starter, but who is also a team-first guy and can support the other guy when he's starting and be ready to play in case they're called upon. And then you got the wily vet, Joe Flacco, still in the room to help with anything that's needed from a preparation standpoint. That's one of the hardest things about being a starting quarterback in this league is getting the experience of how to get from one Sunday to the next Sunday and be at my very best on a consistent basis. How do I handle failure? How do I handle success? How do I get out of my mind last week's game plan and get into my mind this week's game plan? Did y'all see Caleb Williams on Monday night? He's going to put Ben Johnson into an early grave.
Yeah. All that makes sense, Sean, but we're a missed kick from beating a Super Bowl contender. I'm not putting a white flag up the pole yet. I'm just not.
It's not a white flag, Jay.
It is a white flag.
When you're on the
white flag
road
for this season.
No, when you're on the road and I got the stoplight, I'd rather the stoplight be all the way red so I know I got to stop or be green so that I can speed up and get through it. The last thing I want is it to be yellow and I'm trying to make a decision based on how fast I'm going, what I'm going to do.
And how do we know one of these guys... Sorry, Sean. How do we know one of these guys can't be better than Flacco anyway, by the way?
That's what I'm advocating for. You're not listening to me?
You think that one of them's better?
I have no idea. Probably not, but
I don't either. But I'm Joe Flacco's I know in week 2.
Joe Flacco's like the 28th, 30th, 35th best quarterback in the league.
But in week 2, I'm betting on what I know. And what I know is Joe clearly gives this team the best chance to win. We were a missed field goal from beating a team that most have as a Super Bowl contender. I'm going to let it ride with Joe Flacco until it can't. And whether that's from injury or you're at 1-6. And I know that we sound like, let's see what these kids can do. If we're 1-6, 1-5, and in all likelihood we will be, if that's where we are, we've got 11 games. 11 games.
Here's the thing.
Let's see what we have.
Before Dusty gets his last question, here's the thing. Jay and a lot of fans, and I get this. I understand from a fan's perspective and a heart perspective, I get it. They think there's a chance, because of how the defense played last week, that maybe they can win the Super Bowl if Joe Flacco stays healthy.
I don't think that.
Down deep, you must.
No, absolutely not. No, I don't.
Come on.
Well, you can't tell me what I think.
Okay, all right, fine.
Let me
Fine,
correct you.
fine. Okay.
Because that's a bridge too far. I'm crying out loud.
Okay, they could be a
But
playoff
here's what I
contender.
want, Bull.
Yeah.
I want my Sunday afternoons from 1 to 4 to be filled with optimism and hope and excitement and good plays and close finishes. That's what I want. Week to week, give me entertainment. This
So
team
you don't
isn't
care
making
about.
the playoffs.
Go ahead.
They're not making the playoffs. They're not, and I know that. But what I don't want to watch again, because I've watched it for 30 years, I don't want to watch quarterbacks come out there that I have zero faith in. Now, maybe we'll catch lightning in a bottle and they'll come out there and play great, and then I'll say, you know what? I'm glad we did it this way. But right now, here's what I want. Entertain me for 3 hours on Sunday.
All right, I get that.
Don't drive my soul into the dirt every Sunday from 1 to 4.
I get that, but it is possible you might get that from these guys. It's possible.
It is. There is a chance. I just think, in my opinion, I don't think we're going to get better football from either of them that we're getting from Joe Flacco this year.
I get it.
Is there a chance Dustin gets his question off?
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Good.
Sean, hey, good to be with you, man. I'm Dustin. Hey, Archman didn't look good against the Buckeyes. Played better this past weekend. My question is, overall, from the college football you watched 2 weeks in here, any of these quarterbacks, Nussmeier, Drew Aller, any of these guys jumping out as
South Carolina,
like Sellers from South Carolina, jumping out at you as a transcendent type player?
I actually like the kid at Oklahoma, John Mateer.
I saw him too. I kind of liked him too.
I did too. Yeah.
So it's still early in the season, and let me say this about Arch,
swagged out.
because I'm glad you brought that up.
Baker Jr.
People have to stop evaluating Arch like his playing style is reminiscent of his uncles. He's not a quarterback like Eli or Peyton. He's a Josh Allen type of a quarterback. You go look at Allen's Wyoming tape, it looks just like Arch Manning. He's a big, athletic body that is probably better athlete than he is pure thrower of the football right now. Mm-hmm. And you're banking on the come, right? You're hoping he develops like Allen did as he gets older. But for a pundit who I respect, to have him as the number 1 pick in his first mock draft, like, that's crazy. Like, let the kid have a fair evaluation process, right? Like, J.J. McCarthy, it was Vikings fans that were talking about he was a bust at halftime.
Yeah, they were.
Give these kids an opportunity to put enough information and data out there for you to make a educated evaluation. Which to Jay, and listen, boy, Jay, you got baggage. You are scarred.
Oh, man.
I'm broken.
More than anybody.
I'm broken, Sean.
Yeah.
I'm broken. You know why?
Dog.
Here's why I'm broken. That's why.
I see, dog.
Yes.
I see. And to my last point, and remember I said I like John Mateer from Oklahoma, to answer your question.
Yeah.
What you do is, if you go to what I'm saying they should, you give both guys enough time to put real information and data out there. Mm-hmm. So you don't get emotional. You make a decision based on a real collection of information. Like, if they both get 5 starts, let's say they do it over 10 games. That's not an end-all, be-all, but damn, that's a whole lot of football. Mm-hmm. For rookies. And it's not about how they play in game 1. It's about, let me compare where they are in game 5 based on where they were in game 1.
Right.
It's about progress. It's about growth. It's about development. Baker Mayfield's a top 10 quarterback in Tampa, not because he's more talented, he's more mature. Cleveland got rid of him really because of his immaturity. He was young and immature at the time. Mm-hmm. Now, you know what? He failed a couple times. He grew up, and he's a more mature guy, and look at him. But you got to get these guys exposed in order to start really collecting the data. You're not going to learn anything by them standing on the sideline. I promise you that.
Is he more Uncle Rico or Uncle Peyton?
Ooh. Personality-wise?
Nope. Skill set.
I don't know the kid.
Skill set. The sidearm throws are concerning.
He's Josh Allen. So they did a little thing on the Sunday night game was Baltimore Buffalo.
Yeah.
And they showed how Allen has worked to change his throwing motion, how he's gotten better, more compact. If you look at Josh coming into the league, very inaccurate. Now he's pretty accurate. Like, I think Arch is going to have that same kind of developmental arc. And I think the interesting thing is Sarkisian's really had, like, pocket timing type quarterbacks. Matt Jones, Quinn Ewers. He's got to adjust a little bit to what Arch does well. He's got to put some QB run stuff in there early in the game to get Arch going. He got to put a couple screens, some quick game. Like, it's up to these coordinators to know your quarterback and to get your quarterback in a rhythm.
Very good.
Thanks, Shaun.
Always good to see you, Shaun. We love you.
All right, love y'all. Hey, Jay, man, look, man, I love you. If I was there, I'll give you a hug.
Get therapy,
bro.
though, right?
Don't let this organization make you stroke out, man, and leave this earth before you're supposed to, man.
No. That horse has left the barn, brother.
Yeah, many years.
It has left the barn.
Yeah.